Diet Mountain Dew a little earlier in the day today because I gotta say something. I was at Menards and I was waiting in line, and I swear I saw a bag of nuts, and they were just, you know, sitting over there on a shelf, and I was waiting in line, and it felt like forever. And remember like having a super heightened sense of awareness um, of everything going on around me, but suddenly I felt like a sense of fainting almost. And like I said, I had experienced some lightheadedness and dizziness earlier, or maybe I didn't. So basically, when I would get out of bed and I was in a laying down position or sitting down or something like that, and I would get up right away, I would experience like this fainting, dizziness sort of feeling. But it gradually kept getting worse and worse over the time. So again, I was at Menards, and God, I felt so weak. I felt that I almost could have just passed out right there in the line. And at that time, it was really super hot out, and of course I've got the sunburn, and I went out all day long yesterday swimming, and I'm sure that had a contribution to the effect of it all. But I was actually getting nervous then on the drive home that I would just faint, and I remember just being on a mission, like I was just trying to get back to my brother's house like a bat out of hell, just trying to make it before I passed out on the road or some crazy thing, right? Um, yeah. So, yeah, and then, like I said, I hadn't gotten any sleep last night. So I think I started thinking that the reason for all this was possibly that I might be just sleep deprived. And, but that was before I started experiencing the little hunger dryness in the back of the throat, and started doing some research on it, and of course found that in fact is the true sense of hunger that people experience on the fast. And also, like I said, the number one way to know to end your fast is that you do experience the hunger. So oh well, that's pretty much it. Um, the only other things I'll say is that I have never felt more ambition to just get things done. Like, seriously, the whole time I was on the fast, it was like everything was a mission. I'm in battle, and I am trying to infiltrate the enemy base, and nothing is gonna get in my way. That's kind of how I looked at everything. In fact, I called my brother today to just ask him if I could come over to work on a project we're working on, sound room for my little nephew's drum set, and I was just begging to get my brain from being idle. I think that's the key to being on a fast. I really think that to have a successful fast, you've got to have a plan of things to do. You've got to have something to do other than think about food, because if you don't do anything, you're gonna get stuck in thinking about food somewhere along the way. I guarantee, if you're like me, you're gonna start fixating on some kind of food that's gonna make you salivate and not sleep, and it's gonna suck. So like I said, I I worked my way up to do the 5 day fast. I would not recommend doing this cold turkey, but I had also done a 3 day fast prior to this, about two 2 months ago, roughly, and I had no clue what I was doing. I basically was trying to fix my car, running all over hell, trying to find parts for my car, all the way from Wisconsin to Minnesota and back and forth, to basically just do a brake job. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but I had to find this bolt. I remember this stupid bolt that fit into my calipers, and for some reason, I kept chasing all over Checkers or O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and they kept giving me the wrong part, and they kept telling me that some other guy had it, so I kept chasing all over from, like I said, Wisconsin to Minnesota, only to find that the only place I could find the bolt was at Ace Hardware store. So, that being said, it gave me the lesson from that is it gave me sort of this mission, and like I said, the key to a successful fast, I believe, is having something to do. I don't think that you should sleep in a bed and just sit there all day. I don't think you can really curb the hunger that you're going to experience from just sitting in a bed, at least not for me. Because when I sit in my bed, it triggers a response for me to get up and go check out the fridge, which I've did a lot of times. That was one thing. I remember just going in the refrigerator and looking at food, and even at my brother's house, I would just open the fridge, and I sometimes unconsciously, I didn't even know I was doing it. I would just walk and oh, that looks good, you know, and so definitely work your way up. Don't go in and have a mission. Have a mission on what you're gonna do every day. Don't sit idle. Try to go at least do some activities. Now, one thing I did. Oh man, this is looking so good. Well, Wednesday was the first day of the fast, and I did a back workout. No, I'm sorry. It was Tuesday. I did the back workout. That night is when I had the Chipotle steak bowl. Then I went on the fast Wednesday. I took that day off the gym. Day 2 of the fast, I came in for a shoulder workout, and I must say that I overdid it. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I have a training partner who's pretty ferocious in the gym, and he kind of peer pressured me in a way. I know it's my fault. I'm not blaming it on him, but I felt kind of peer pressured in a way to come to the workout and do what he was doing, and that's not the right approach when you're on a fast, because depending on what you do, I mean, I don't think 5 sets of 5 is enough. For some reason, I just don't feel that is quite enough, because I felt like I had the energy to do so much more, and I also feel that the act of depleting your glycogen, like moving your muscles, lifting weights, will help you expedite the fast, to get you to the point where the healing effects take place, and the fat burning begins. Because obviously, if you've got a full tank of gas, you're not going to switch over to your fat stores. So it may have actually helped me in a way to do that workout, but I probably did, 5 sets, probably at least 21 to 24 sets, maybe more, of shoulders, biceps, and triceps. Now I did only lightweight, so I'm doing 12 to 15 reps, right? And these front raises, shoulder press. I only did 90 pounds for like 10 reps. I probably could have done 15, but I still think that might have been a little bit too much. And definitely where I went over the top was yesterday when I went swimming. I think was the biggest thing, that the biggest mistake that I made on this fast is that I went out with a friend, and again, I get sucked into this sort of thing all the time. It's nobody's fault but my own, but I went out swimming. I went out to the dock, swam out to the dock, which was fine, and I jumped off the diving board, did a pencil dive, and did a few dives, and came back, and then we decided to go back out again, and then my friend's little nephew wanted to go out, so my friend said, "Hey, why don't you go out with him?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I feel great, like $1,000,000, why not?" So I went out, and then I just let go, and we had a blast, but I do think that it was just a little bit too much. I felt great when I came back. I felt again like $1,000,000. I think due to the human growth hormone spike, which can be up to 2,000% over the top of your normal growth production, which if you were to calculate it out, by the way, ends up being about 40 IUs worth of growth hormone. So to put that in perspective, an average bodybuilder usually only takes about 3 to 4 IUs a day, and the average person only produces like roughly 2 to 3, say, per day, naturally. And it's not a constant release, of course. You sleep, and then that's where it really spikes up. But for me, I do believe that the growth really kicked in. Oh God, this watermelon looks so good. Oh. Oh, sorry about that, but I think the growth hormone really helps a lot during these fasts. I think that's the key, obviously, to the muscle preservation, which everybody's always so scared of. I'm gonna lose muscle. It's gonna go away. I'm never gonna get it back again. Bullshit. I gotta call it out as I see it because, again, human growth hormone is a preservative of muscle. It preserves your muscle. Mother Nature did not intend for you to burn your muscle, because how could you go find the food then? How could you go kill the lion or the tiger if you hadn't had any muscle to use it? And it makes no sense why you would lose muscle on a fast. It just doesn't. Your body is meant to fast. We were evolved over thousands of years for feast and famine, and it's just a natural process. There's not always food. Egypt had floods, and they didn't have crops for a year. Did people all die off? Did Egypt get wiped off the map somehow? No. So I think we have to take it that we were meant to do this, and it's part of the metabolic process of how we survived. How we survived feasts and the famines and the crops when they didn't come through. Oh, that's so good. So, what was I gonna say here? I totally forgot. That's another thing. People think that the fast is gonna make them some kind of super genius or some kind of it's like some kind of pill that you can take to gain this clarity on life, or this spiritual thing. I think I was me the whole time. The only difference was that, like I said, I'm on a mission. I don't want to mess around. Where normally I would just let my brother roll over me when he came down to tell me something. He thought I had an attitude problem, and I said, no, I don't have an attitude problem. You got the attitude problem. You need to fix it. And I just sort of confronted him in that way, because I just call it the way I see it, and I typically let things go. That's my nature. I just don't like to confront, because I have in the past, and it never turns out well for me. So typically I'll let people roll over me where I'm on this fast. I just don't have time. I'm trying to get something done. You're getting in my way. You're being a douchebag. You're being a dick. Stop. So I was a little bit more cutthroat, a little bit in that respect. Like I said, I just want to get things done. I just want to move and do things. Oh my god. Oh, it tastes too good. Oh my god. Oh, I can just feel that go down my stomach. Oh, yeah. So, another reason to go on a fast, if you are someone who has cancer, if you have some kind of cancerous growth in your body, if you go on a long enough fast, eventually your body will begin to digest the cancer or the growth. So if you have a cyst or something, it may be useful. Another good reason to go on a fast is because to reset your body, and especially your immune system. And this is another thing that cancer patients will utilize fasting for. They will fast sometime before, I think it's before or after. I can't remember if it's before or after, but let's say before the chemotherapy sessions. They will do some sort of fast, at least a 3-day fast, which is enough to kill off all your white blood cells in your body. And what happens, obviously that sounds like a bad thing, right? But what happens is your white blood cells will regenerate through some process where your body produces these stem cells, and the stem cells will then become these white blood cells, so you get fresh, new white blood cells that are ready to rock and fight off infection. So all the old white blood cells that weren't doing their job are now dead. So you've got basically a fresh set. Also, you're going to kill off all your good bacteria and your bad bacteria. I don't think they can survive that long. So you're going to have to replace that with your good probiotics and prebiotics. Actually, better to take prebiotics than probiotics, because they're going to match your set of bacteria. Everybody's bacteria in their body is different. So you take a prebiotic, it will sort of proliferate your existing set of bacteria in your body, instead of just giving you what they think is the right dose for you, which is maybe 8 times out of 10 it's the right one, but if you fall into that category, it's not going to be the right mix and match of bacteria 1, 2, and 3. So, something to think about. Oh my god, so good. I don't know if I'm overdoing this with the watermelon. I kind of like had conflicting information about this. I saw one guy say that you should only eat one kind of fruit for like a week, which seems overly ridiculous to me, especially for just a 5-day fast. I'm thinking that's like for a super long fast. I mean, this guy's talking about doing like a 2-month fast or something like that. So, if you're doing a super long fast like that, you may want to just stick to one kind of fruit for a week. But you look on other channels and you see people who are eating like pancake pizzas, for instance. I watched a guy chow down this like mix of like cheese and pancake and pepperoni, and like, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? But he had only done like a 4-day fast, so I'm kind of wondering, like, at what point do you take the break fast? You can only eat fruits and vegetables before you start on your yogurt, and then you go from your yogurt to your nuts, and then you go from the nuts to the grains, and whatever. I wonder how much truth there really is to that after kind of looking at all these different videos. But I think the safest bet is just take the simplest and most simplest thing. I mean, this watermelon seemed to be the most common thing that people break their fast with, so why not run with it, right? What else? Didn't experience any headaches whatsoever. Had clearness in my eyes. You'll notice, like, I don't know if you can see. Hard to see, but there's a serious clarity in the iris. And you'll see that there is no sort of impurity in there. It's kind of hard to see, but here, let me go to the bathroom real quick just to show you if you can see it at all right now. But you'll notice, like, you look at yourself in the mirror and you'll see super clear irises, almost like, and it's not like the pupils are super dilated, it's just super clear eyes. And the only thing that I can do to explain that would be that perhaps you're cleaned out. Maybe that's a sign that, hey, the body is cleaned out, or at least, you know, a certain space of your body is cleaned out or something like this. I don't really know, but another thing I experienced along the fast, I should say, a little bit of BO. Noticed I had a little bit of BO, kind of like under the armpits. You could smell it, and it was just kind of a little bit more nasty than usual. First day I had earwax, a lot of it. No, not the first day. Second day I woke up, I had a bunch of earwax, and then to boot, I also had a lot of eye boogies, a lot of sleep in my eyes. So that was an overabundance of it. So I noticed that was interesting. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I guess that pretty much covers it. So if you're going to try a 5-day water fast, again, what I would suggest is Bragg's apple cider vinegar. That seemed to work well for me. Go light at the gym, but not too light. I don't think you should just stick with the 5 sets of 5. I think that's just too little for me. And then have a mission, have goals, have some kind of plan, some kind of situation where you're all booked up for the day and you can't think about anything else but the task at hand, the mission or the goal that you're trying to achieve for the day. So other than that, I think I don't think there's a reason why you shouldn't try it. Don't let the little heart palpitations scare you. That's just some sort of normal part of the process. Can't explain it exactly, but the little things, you definitely have to do your research and find out if it is a valid symptom or not. But I'd say most of the time it's just normal. Some people experience a lot of things. I've heard that some people throw up on the second or third day, and then they're completely fine. So, a lot of people have some pretty nasty number twos, and that just comes with the territory, I guess. I didn't experience any of that. I basically haven't gone in 5 days. I have not gone once. So, I peed a lot, and the pee tastes like, or no, it doesn't taste like. It smells like death. Well, maybe not that bad, but it's pretty brown and kind of ugly colored. So, you might notice that's one thing you get. But again, it's normal. It's not anything to be scared about. You're not gonna die. But overall, it was a great experience. I felt amazing. Like I said, I was out swimming on the fourth day of my fast, and I could keep up with a 15-year-old kid, and I'm 37. So I think it was a success. They say that the latest studies say that eat less to live longer, and I believe as a society we're obese because we eat too much, and too much of the wrong foods. The sugar has to go. I just don't think the human body was made to run efficiently on sugar, and I think that it probably will end your life early over the long term. So keep the carbs low, keep the fats high. I think eat fat to get skinny, eat sugar to get fat. I do believe that's a fact. So other than that, live long and prosper, and hopefully you guys found some useful information here. Take care.